Hey my friends, it's George Ira Carroll. I just wanted to share with you just a quick snippet, quick nugget with you that was inspired through one of my group coaching programs, and it goes a little something like this. So the quote goes, the patterns that you resist are the patterns that persist in your reality. The patterns that you resist facing, the patterns you resist moving in through and breaking through, the patterns that you resist really stepping up and stepping into are the patterns that persist in your reality. Have you ever noticed, like in relationships, you continue to maybe, or know people who date, the same person over and over and over again, just in a different body, because they have the same energetic patterns, because that's what they're choosing consistently, that's what they're attracting. Same thing goes in life as in personal growth and expansion. If we are choosing areas of our life, like a business, for example, that we're growing, and we get to a certain uncomfort zone, a level, a threshold of uncomfortableness, and we avoid facing the core or the root of that uncomfortableness, and we do all kinds of things to divert ourselves, what will happen is somewhere else in our life that's going to show up. And it's interesting because when people choose to go bigger in their life, to go bigger in their business, whatever it is that they're doing, if they're unwilling to move through certain patterns, those patterns then will persist in that person's reality until they're resolved. So all of those patterns live inside of us, and our external reality is simply a reflection of the combination and dynamic of internal patterns, beliefs, thoughts, emotions that we feel in every single day. And the key is when those patterns show up and you start to hit this threshold, what do? Do you pull back and go do something that's more comfortable? Or do you step up and face it like a boss and move through it so that that pattern never shows up again in your life? Here's a great example. You may have heard of Chuck Yeager. He is the creator of the Jägermeister. I'm just kidding. He's the creator of the Jaeger bomb. Just joking again. Chuck Yeager is actually the guy who broke the sound barrier. And the story goes like this. The two men who went up in the air before Chuck Yeager to break the sound barrier ended up dying. What happened was, as they got into the air and they hit these thresholds, they hit these points of resistance in their plane because their plane couldn't handle the speeds, both of them pulled back, and as a result of it, the plane couldn't handle the spacing and the resistance, and the planes blew up and both of the men died. Well, Chuck Yeager knew this going up into the air, so he got in his plane, right? And as he's in his plane, he notices that that plane is starting to hit that threshold again, that resistance point, and instead of pulling back or pushing forward, in that moment he had a choice to make. Am I going to pull back and risk death like the other two gentlemen, or am I going to push forward and move through this resistance and step up like a boss? Well, Chuck Yeager decides he's going to be a boss that day. He pushes forward, pushes through the resistance, and story goes, all he hears was this boom, and then complete silence. Because he had broken the sound barrier, and he had blown through the resistance that the people before him weren't really willing to blow through. So my friends, the question that I have for you is, where in your life might you be pulling back because the resistance is showing up? And where can you begin to now move forward and push forward through that resistance and break through that pain, that fear, that uncomfortableness, whatever it is, so that you get to have more of you and you get to have more of your life? Because truth is, the patterns don't go away. Only when we choose to move through them do we move through them. But as long as we're choosing to avoid them, to pull back, we're killing our life. So my friends, have fun with that metaphor. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.